There is the king in Hindu mythology who went to heaven while still alive, not after death, not through reincarnation. He physically walked into heaven in his mortal body. And then the gods tried to kick him out, and he refused to leave until he had given away all his spiritual merit to the suffering souls in hell. His name was Yudhishthira. Wait, no, that is a different story. This king's name was Trishanku, and his story is so bizarre, so cosmically awkward, that it resulted in the creation of an entirely separate heaven that hangs upside down in the sky to this day. Trishanku was a king of the Solar dynasty, an ancestor of Rama. He had one burning desire. He wanted to enter heaven in his physical body, not die and have his soul ascend. He wanted to walk in, flesh and blood and all. He went to his guru, Vasishta, and asked for help. Vasishta told him it was impossible. The gods do not allow mortals into heaven with their bodies. It violates the cosmic order. Trishanku was not satisfied. He went to Vasishta's sons and asked them instead. They were insulted that he had gone behind their father's back and cursed him to become a Chandala, an outcast, stripping him of his royal form. Trishanku was transformed into an ugly, aged, disheveled version of himself, expelled from his own kingdom. But he still wanted heaven. So he went to the one sage who never turned down a challenge, Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra and Vasishta were legendary rivals. When Trishanku told Vishwamitra what had happened, the sage saw an opportunity. This was not just about sending a king to heaven. This was about proving that Vishwamitra's power was equal to or greater than Vasishta's. Vishwamitra organized a massive yajna, a fire sacrifice of unprecedented scale. He channeled every ounce of his accumulated spiritual power into launching Trishanku toward heaven. And it worked. Trishanku rose into the sky, higher and higher, past the clouds, past the atmosphere, past the celestial spheres, all the way to the gates of heaven. And Indra, the king of the gods, looked at this mortal showing up at heaven's doorstep with his physical body and said absolutely not. He shoved Trishanku back. Trishanku started falling, head first, back toward earth. He screamed for help. Vishwamitra heard the screaming and was furious. He pointed his finger at the falling king and stopped him in mid-air. Then, in a display of power that terrified every being in the universe, Vishwamitra began creating a new heaven. Right there, in the middle of the sky. He created new stars. He created new constellations. He started creating new gods to populate his alternative heaven. The existing gods were horrified. A mortal sage was literally building a competing paradise. If Vishwamitra succeeded, the entire cosmic hierarchy would be undermined. Every dissatisfied soul would go to Vishwamitra's heaven instead of Indra's. Indra and the gods rushed to negotiate. They begged Vishwamitra to stop. They made a deal. Trishanku could stay in the sky, suspended between heaven and earth, in his own celestial space, but he would hang upside down for eternity. Vishwamitra agreed. Trishanku got his heaven. Sort of. He hangs there to this day, they say, in his inverted paradise, neither in the heaven of the gods nor on the earth of mortals. A king who wanted too much, helped by a sage who could not say no, frozen in a compromise that satisfied no one fully. Indian astronomers actually identified a specific star as Trishanku's heaven. The Southern Cross constellation, visible in the southern sky, hanging upside down, is sometimes called Trishanku Swarga, a cosmic reminder of what happens when ambition meets stubbornness meets divine ego. The story of Trishanku is funny, tragic, and deeply philosophical all at once. It asks whether desire itself is the problem, or whether the problem is a universe that punishes desire while rewarding those who already have everything. The gods have heaven. They did nothing to earn it. Trishanku worked for it, paid for it, suffered for it, and got an upside-down consolation prize. Sound familiar? Subscribe for more stories from a mythology that understood irony 5,000 years before the internet.